Hi everybody, it's Keelan here from Threshold Training Network, and in this week's Grown March we're going to be exploring obstacles that get in the way of us achieving our goals. So when we're starting off learning a new skill or doing anything new, there's always going to be some kind of stumbling block and kind of learning that needs to take place in order for us to grow and kind of master that skill. So it's very common we come up against kind of challenges, be it internal challenges like I spoke about last week where we might doubt ourselves, those kind of thoughts will arise, I can't do it. Those kind of internal blocks can get in the way. And on the other side of the coin, there's external factors that can get in the way, such as if you're working in a team and someone has a different point of view from you, or maybe you don't have the time or the money to invest in the new skill that you're doing. So today, what I'm going to go through is how we can overcome those obstacles and find solutions. So the example I'm going to use today is an external factor that may block our success. So working with others can be challenging. And I was kind of thinking about it yesterday, like it is a skill that's really important to be able to communicate effectively to others, to be able to state your needs, to be able to state your point of view in a way that's helpful. So the example I'm going to give today, but what I'll ask you to do is to get a sheet of paper before you get started and a pen. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and then you're going to do it yourself in regards to the goal you set in week 1. Or it could even be maybe you haven't set a goal and it's just an obstacle that you foresee happening in the future with something you're doing. So with the schools reopening in April, a lot of students are going to be going back, and something that would be good to think about, or an obstacle to overcome, would be kind of getting back into a routine and having structure. That's going to be a big challenge for a lot of people. So get your pen and paper, and how you do this is you write down the obstacle as a line in like one short sentence, what it is. So just taking a moment now to reflect on what the obstacle is, or what the challenge you believe you'll face with your goal. If you write it down, and then once you have the obstacle wrote down, what I want you to do now is just to ground yourself. So the next step of this that we're going to do is we're going to write down all the solutions to our obstacle. So there's no silly solution. Write down everything you can think of. But first we need to ground ourselves before we kind of get on to that next step. So I invite you now to get into a comfortable position in your chair. And just take 3 deep breaths in through your nose, feeling the belly rise, and exhaling softly out through your mouth. And just continuing to do this for 2 more breaths. Now whenever you're ready, just gently press your feet into the floor, and imagine you're like a tree and the roots are going deeper and deeper into the soil beneath you. just kind of pushing gently. Feeling connected with the ground beneath you. And just kind of gently stretching the body if any parts of your body feel tense. Kind of rolling the shoulders, shaking the fingers and toes. And just when you open your eyes, if you can notice 3 things that you see in the room around you. Okay, so we wrote down the obstacle. We've done our grounding, because when we're grounded, we make better decisions. But just to know, with the solutions, there's no wrong solution. So I say to everybody, just write down everything you can think of. It doesn't matter what it is. There's no silly answer. It doesn't mean that you're going to use that solution, but what we're going to do tomorrow is whittle them down again. So I want you to get started. So my obstacle is someone not pulling their weight in a group project. So I'm kind of imagining this situation, because this is a good one for our interpersonal skills that we'll be using next week. So just, I'm going to kind of imagine that someone in my group in school, you know, they're not contributing to a project, and, you know, they're difficult to deal with. They don't like my ideas, and I'm just feeling overwhelmed by being grouped with them. So that's going to be my obstacle, my imaginary one. And if you write in yours, and let's get started, all the possible solutions. So just keep jotting them down until you run out. Okay, I'm finished, but if you need another moment, just pause the video. So I have 9 so far. That's all I could think of right now. But what I'm gonna do is, and what I usually do in these situations, is I leave the piece of paper out on my desk, and throughout the day, if I have anything to jot down, I do it. I think that's a really cool way to do this. So don't be frustrated if you only got 3 or 4 options. Kind of leave it for the day and kind of come back to it when something comes up. Because now that you've started thinking about solutions, what happens is once we think of 2 or 3 solutions, loads kind of flow. So what I want you to do now is, like what I find when I wrote down the solutions, is to leave it for a while. All we're doing for now is kind of coming up with the solutions to the obstacles. So what I kind of ask you to do is, if you're finished, just leave it. Leave it out somewhere where you can see it and you can kind of go over it again. So kind of have your pen and paper somewhere, and as you pass it throughout the day, maybe scan the solutions, but just taking some time, a couple of hours, just in case any more come, and not to force it. And then tomorrow we're going to go through the second part of this, and I'm going to show you what to do next. So thank you for joining today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care.